Hey, what's up? Look at me. I'm like Mr. Rogers. I'm gonna put my shoes on. Welcome. Let's go, here we go. Internal versus external competition. This is everything for me now. I almost have zero external competition in my life. I just do. I don't play a lot of people. I'm not out in public pool rooms. I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to teach, trying to run a cult, all that stuff. And I just don't have a lot of external motivation for pool. And it's very interesting because I've done everything that I kind of want to do with pool. I reached a lot of the goals that I wanted to reach. Like, I'm not this great player or anything like that, but I set out about 25 years ago. I had quit pool, and 25 years ago I was 27 years old, so I was just married a couple years, and maybe 26 years, whatever. And I put a table in my house, and I had played a couple years because I had this little pool room in college, and I was competing and playing some leagues and things like that. But then I made a conscious decision to say, you know what, I want to play at a professional level. Like, I don't need to play professionally. I don't need to tour. I don't need to have like anything spectacular happen. I just want to play at a high level, let's say, right? And so I look at it, and it's like I was so externally motivated. That's an external goal, right? It's not an internal goal. There is an internal process that happens to reach that goal, but it's an external thought, right? It's an external goal. I need to go out and compete, and I need to beat people that play at that level in order to make that happen. So totally makes sense. That's where I was at the time. And so I put in all this time and had all these ups and downs and all this trouble and trying to do it while I was working and having a family and all that, and wham, poor me. But basically, that was like an external process. Now, I had deep down internal reasons why I wanted that to happen, because I believed that if I got to that level, that when I got there, I could do good things with it. Meaning, I could have influence on people. I could share concepts about becoming a better pool player and a better person along the way, and how that dynamic worked for me to grow from a person, like try to grow my pool game while I'm growing my life and all that. So pool is this beautiful game that you can't lie your way through. You can't do it. You have to earn it. And that's why I love about pool. And so anyways, so that's why I wanted to earn my path to like a professional level, because I just had my reasons, had my motivations. I had seen professional people in my area. They were completely like selfish and aggressive and old school, like broken people. And I'm like, okay, I think I could do it and be a father and be a husband and be a good person and encourage and uplift people. So that was my original plan, like over 25 years ago. And now I'm sort of living that plan, meaning I got over 700. I have some professional victories on film that, as far as I'm concerned, they're good. You know, I lost my first round of US Open qualifier, and I played through and beat professional players and beat a professional player in the finals on camera on the hill. And I'm like, yeah, good enough. I've ran 156 playing pool, straight pool. I've ran 9 racks of 10 ball, ghost 10 ball. I've done some things that are very, very professional level playing. And so I'm like, good. And those are all like external things, right? External motivations or external accomplishments, right? But now that I've gone and done that, right? And this is where it gets tricky, because a person could say, well, you know, you've accomplished these things. It's not what like any like real pro has accomplished. Of course, I get it, right? But you could say, well, you've accomplished enough, and now you can work on, you know, now you got your pile of gold. Now you can sit on your pile of gold and tell everyone how don't worry about being on a pile of gold. And I would say, be careful with that. Be careful with that, because that's the way I used to think about this stuff. And what I realized was all the accomplishments and things that I just named off, this is like the zen of life and of pool, right? I could sit there on one hand and I could say, I've accomplished everything I need to possibly accomplish with pool, okay? But then at the other hand, I could say, I haven't accomplished shit with pool. Really, honestly, compared to like other players in the US or things like that, I haven't gotten to 780 or 800 or 820 or anything like that. I'm like a 700-ish player that's done a couple things. And it's like, well, that means that there's like, you know, many iterations of what I could possibly accomplish left in the tank. And I still am interested in accomplishing those things. So whether I'm a 500 trying to get to 600 or a 700 trying to get to 800, it's the same situation, right? Now, you could say that's BS, that doesn't make any sense, but I would say, no, it's the same thing because it's all just about improvement. And so what I'm saying now, okay, the only advantage I have as a 7 versus a 500 is that I have 40 years of what doesn't work behind me, where a 500 doesn't have that, right? And so what I'm saying is now I know with 4 decades of, or 3.5 decades or whatever, because I've kind of seen over the last 5 years of doing this, what works and how to do it. And that's why I'm here on a channel and training and teaching you guys. And that's why I think I'm one of the better instructors on YouTube and in the country, because I've gone through all of these iterations of what doesn't work, right? And so now I'm realizing that external thing, it doesn't work. It absolutely doesn't work. And it's absolutely not gonna work for me going from like 700 up towards 800. And the reason why is because I can't run that nonsense anymore. I can't, it just doesn't work anymore because everyone plays too good beyond 730 to 800. People just play too good. And so you have to do more than just hulk out and run your anger and play 20 hours before a match and do all the things I used to do. Now I actually have to get better in all 6 of these areas methodically over time, right? So I have to get better biomechanically, my understanding of physics, and am I able to execute that physics, geometry the same, strategy, mental game, and blending them. Those are the things that are my reality, and those are all internal things. Those are all internal. I can't externally learn how to get better at those things. It's an internal process. And so that's part of it. And then the other part is using external motivation to go from 7 to 800 at 52 years old ain't gonna work because I can't run that bullshit because I have a wife, 3 kids, house, 2 dogs, cars, brakes that need to get done, all this stuff. I can't just flush everything down the toilet and say, I'm gonna make this happen, force of will. No, I have to find a different way. I have to find a path that can work for my life. And what I'm realizing is, and what I have realized is that when I'm doing this game and playing this game, it is an internal process that helps me to learn and develop this game. First of all, I don't need to get any better at pool. I've already kind of achieved what that's why I said it's like a Zen, it's like this Zen thing, you know, where it's like, well, I'd like to get better at pool. I'm interested in getting better at pool, but I don't really need to get better at pool. So I'm in this weird spot. Well, now I don't have, you know, external motivation to get better because I don't need it. When I play pool, like I can just make a video and 3,000 people will watch me play pool. Okay, well, where's my need to go out and play in a professional event, right? It's like I can just post a video of me running 4 racks and 3,000 people watch it, or 7 out of 10 racks or whatever it is. And it's like not all my videos, but like somewhere between 500 and 3,000 people watch when I play pool, right? So where is my external motivation there? I don't need 10,000 people, 100,000 people to watch me play pool. I don't. Like, it's not necessary for me to go and play a pro tournament where there's literally 15 people in the audience and half of them are falling asleep in the front row and I just spent $2,000 and 10 days out of my life away from my family to go play pool in front of 5 people awake and 3 people sleeping. It's like, there's no external motivation there for me. I've understood at this point that is not what I want to be doing. So then what's left is the internal motivation of the game. If I don't need to get better, if I don't need to go play because I don't need to run that game that other people run in the industry or professional level players where they have to go play those tournaments because they need to try to win money, which I don't need to try to win money. I have no motivation for that. Or they're trying to, be competitive to sort of fill up some need of a hierarchy and a status thing. I don't need that. So I'm only left with the internal at this point as 52 years old. That's all I have left to work with because the external's kind of gone for me. So most of the time when people lose the external, they get lost, right? You can look at NFL players and the numbers of them that go broke after they retire. They have millions of dollars and then there's like statistics within a certain amount of years, they go bust. It's because they were so externally motivated, they didn't have that internal process developed. So when they retire, they're completely lost because they're all about the external. That's basically what's happening. That's it, right? And what I'm saying is, I understand that that's an issue. I understand that's an issue with pool. Like you can look at pool players. There's a professional player that's from this state that retired at like 36 years old. And it's like, he just stopped playing. And you can tell that's an external motivated decision. If he was internally motivated, he wouldn't have quit playing pool. He would have loved the game. He would have loved learning. He would have had a joy for the game. You can tell by his retiring at 36 that he was externally motivated by the game. And that when getting that external, and one of the last matches he played a gambling match. He played a 10 ahead and it's a kind of a funny story. He got beat by a European player that was 800, and the table time, a 10 ahead set, a 9-ball was like $4. And I heard this story, and he never played after that. And it makes sense because he realized in real time that this is very difficult to squeeze external things from this game. This game is very hard. The resources in this game, financially and from a hierarchy, there's a dearth. It's like a desert financially and from like emotionally. And so if you play this game to get something out of it financially or get something out of it external, like a financial benefit or an emotional benefit, it's like very hard to squeeze. It's more like squeezing blood from a rock than it is anything else. And so that's another reason why it doesn't work to focus on the external with this game, because there's not enough that you can get from it. And if you admit that, like, you can start moving forward and you can start playing it for internal reasons, meaning the joy of learning and the pleasure of small motions. There's a book about that. And you can play it because it's considered one of the hardest games in the world to play well. And so doing hard things is a benefit to us as humans. We love challenges, and we need those challenges to continue on, right? That's like lottery winners. They completely fall off the face of the earth and go broke because they lose all their motivation. They have no like external thing going on, and they're not like internally motivated enough to like sort through all the extra money they get. And it's just funny. And so what I'm saying is, when you focus on the internal with this game, it really allows you to learn it a lot faster. It allows you to continue to play it under any circumstance, right? When people are messaging me and they're saying, I did this and this happened and I was so upset and I get frustrated, that's all external stuff, man. It's like, I haven't been frustrated in this game since I like hit bottom, quit, and started over, like drinking game. I've talked about it almost every single video, but I haven't been frustrated with this game for like 5 or 6 years because I'm completely internally motivated by the game. I don't need anything out of the game. I don't want anything from the game other than the challenge of the learning and the process of figuring it out. And once I've switched to that puzzle solving, learning mind, being present, and looking at how it's kept me from running my BS and held me accountable to a reality, those are internal things. That's why I don't get frustrated with the game. And I'm sort of in a spot now where it has to be internal for me to make it work. And then here's the punchline, or here's the final result of what I'm saying, is that I am getting better at the game at 52 years old. That's it. I just flat out am. And I'm capable of getting better at the game. And I have done it without anything on the horizon. I used to need some sort of match, and I'm gonna go, besides getting all this pressure, people are gonna be watching me, and I'm gonna be showing out my stuff. And it's like, no, I haven't done that for years. It's like, I don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. If you stop thinking, and everybody can do what they want, but if you're out there and you're listening to this podcast and you're struggling with external and ego and frustration, if you can let go of that and you can focus on the puzzle and look at the external challenge that's involved in this game, you'll find so much more joy and your game will rise up so much faster, right? It's an internal game. That's it. And you don't need to have other people to play against. You can train and you can put benchmarks out for yourself to achieve. And you know, Jolie and I talk, and it's funny, man, because the worst part of this game at times is other people with their bullshit that they run at you nonstop. Whether it's some guy in league that's pounding the table and throwing chalk or dropping F-bombs every time he misses, or making excuses, or doing whatever, or it's someone at a tournament, or someone that you have over to your house that's running their nonsense. It's like, it's a very difficult game. And it's not always that way, but it can be that way. And so what I'm saying is, I have been in a situation where I realized it's hard for me to find people to play, right? Because they're protective of their Fargo. So it's almost impossible for me to find someone to play over 700 in Minnesota, because everyone's like protecting their stuff and they whatever. And then, so it has to be an internal game for me. I don't really have the opportunity to go out there and play external matches. And I don't even care, because A, I don't need it. B, I've got all the external that I need. I got way too much external, right, with this situation and these videos and being on YouTube. It's not too much, but it's like, it's closer to too much than not enough. And focusing on external just causes me to be miserable. And focusing on the internal, that's the most joyful and meaningful, and helps me to build my game the fastest, because it makes me the most present, it makes me the most appreciative, it makes me the most accepting, all those things. I don't have some motivation where I'm gonna go play someone and they're gonna run their bullshit on me for 6 hours and I gotta fight through it and do all that stuff. It's like, is that more valuable? Because there's a guy that came to town, he's some European guy, he's in the 730s, and he sat there and he came to town and I was doing content, and he was like, that guy, he's never met me, and he's like, that guy's terrible and he'll never play me and he's a fish and all that stuff. And so I walked up to the guy and I said, well, let's play, and we'll play 3 sets for 1,000. And I didn't even think I could beat him. I mean, he's a really good player, but I'm like, I'm not gonna back down. You're not gonna bully me off my hand. And so, and I believed I could beat him too, so in some ways. So I'm like, okay, let's play. And then he backed down and he wouldn't play and all that stuff. And it's like, the whole point is, it's like, that guy is known to like snap cues and kick over things, and he's a complete bully. Like, he was a complete bully. And he's just an awful person, honestly, because if you act that way, you're kind of polluting the environment around you. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to go spend 6 hours playing some guy that's polluting the environment around him. So what? So that I can prove that I can beat a 730? It's like, who cares? I literally, the old me said, and I'm not even saying this is a good thing that I did it, but I challenged him to play and he backed down or whatever, so it's fine. But what I'm saying is, I'm not even saying that was the right move. Like, the right move was to be like, F that guy, who cares? I don't need that guy in my life. I'm not gonna be miserable for 6 hours to prove to some bully that he can't bully me. It's like, it's just, because how am I actually going to become a better player? By playing some guy like that and being miserable for 6 hours and winning or losing a grand or two or three? It's like, that's meaningless bullshit money. And he is a complete, awful person that I don't want to spend 5 seconds with. And I don't even need to playing him, I have other options. That's a total ego external thing that I did with him, and it was a mistake. And I'm glad that he didn't say yes, not because I care about the money or that I was going to be in a match, but because I don't want to be that person that does that anymore. So it's like, he got me, right? And it's like, it's like I look back at that story and I think, man, that's not something I'm really proud of that I did. I'm actually, I'm not embarrassed that I did that, but it's not a cool thing. It's like, the real cool thing would have been, I don't need to play this guy. I don't care what he says. It doesn't matter, right? Because there are things that I can do with this game that are individual and internal that will be just as valuable as me playing that guy, right? And there's challenges that I can do. I could try to run 200 balls on my straight pool. I have a 156 high run, and I think I got 200 in me. And there's guys that can run 300 and 400 and 800. I get all that, but I'm just saying, for me, running 200 would be a pretty cool benchmark for me. So I could put on that project, or running 10 racks of 9-ball ghost. That could be kind of cool. It's like, I've ran 9 racks of 10-ball, but maybe the stars aligned. Can I do it again with 9-ball? Can I run 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 racks of 8-ball on a bar table? There are things that I can do that are external goal things, but the internal process of what I need to do and who I need to become and how different I need to be and how focused I need to be, that is beautiful and that is fun. And that's not some tracksuit wearing Euro guy talking shit and making my life miserable for 6 hours. That is a joyful, quiet, internal process that I can work through and find joy with, right? So we don't need to be always in these external situations either. There's an internal process that we can work, and there's internal answers. Like, people send me messages all the time and they're like, this person's in league and this person at the tournament and this and this and this. And I'm like, well, don't play. Like, that's flat out, don't play. You're not a coward because you don't play. You're actually a healthy person. If you're on a pool team and it's toxic, get off the pool team. There's no reason to be on the pool team. You don't need to be on the pool team just because someone says you need to be on it, or you think you need to be on it because you're not a quitter and you committed and all that stuff. It's like, no, if you're on a pool team and it's toxic, just exit the pool team. It's not your fault that they're toxic. You just have to just have your boundary and work on your internal process. And if you're on a pool team and everyone's super externally motivated to the point where they're like insufferably toxic, get out of that situation. Find another team, or don't play pool on teams. Like, that's it. There's just answers. There's answers to these questions, and that's it. And a lot of times it's looking at the internal solution. What is the internal solution here? I'm facing an external problem, and maybe I just need to stop thinking about this game as so external, and I need to look at this game and its beauty as an internal game, right? That's what I'm saying. So, all right, whatever. Who knows? I fire these off and I'm like, could be great, could be terrible. So you guys let me know in the comments, and join the cult. teach you all kinds of stuff about pool. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.